Today we get a look inside the mind of Liangelo Ball concerning life. That is because Ava asked him this question.
My name is Ava, and are you ever pressured by your friends? And if so, how do you deal with it?
Hey Ava, it's Jello right here for the Greensboro Swarm. And my advice to you is if you feeling peer pressure by your friends, I'll say just, from my experiences, just worry about what you're doing and focus on yourself. And if they're riding with you, they're going to get behind your back. And if not, just know you're always going to have your own back. So I say stay true to yourself.
Stay true to yourself. That's the message that Liangelo shared with Ava because that's what he lives. It's kind of interesting that he said, based on my experience, I just focus on myself and worry about what I'm doing. Then he goes on to say, let's break it down. If they're riding with you, they're going to have your back. And if not, you got to have your own back. The question is, does the Swarm have Liangelo's back? Let's go ahead and get into some facts. On the world stage, Liangelo Ball, when I say the world stage, I mean CNN, ESPN. He was all over everyone's coverage for the incident in China. He went from the clouded life of a NCAA athlete to being slept on by virtually everyone. Everyone except for the subscribers to this channel. We knew the facts. And Liangelo knew what he was doing when he left UCLA. He knew it was going to be a grind. He knew that he would have to leave the States, go overseas. And that's what he did. He went overseas and he put up numbers. There was a period of time where he led his LKL team in Lithuania in scoring. And of course, we all knew that would happen if you've been following the Ball family for any amount of time. Unfortunately, he didn't really get to show his full capabilities because just like the Swarm, in the LKL, he was getting limited minutes. I mean, now he's getting no minutes, which is more crazy. We'll get to that. But in the LKL, he got limited minutes and then he got hurt, so he left. People would most likely classify that as a failure, but I see it as a success, and I'll tell you why. Because Liangelo learned from it. He learned what it's like to sit at the end of the bench. He learned what it's like to not be the coach's favorite. He learned what it's like to not have everyone around you love you and be fake with you. Listen, guys, the earlier you learn that, the better. And people say, Liangelo, go overseas. Well, he's been overseas. He's put up numbers. Even in the JBA USA World Tour, they played against really good players, really good teams, and Liangelo put up numbers there. So he's been there. He's done that. And people always discredit the JBA. They discredit the work that Liangelo put in overseas. And that's why they expected him to not be able to play basketball after a few years and after a few surgeries. But what did he do? He stepped into the summer league right away and was red hot. What you guys know, the 16 points in 16 minutes. That's because, surprise, all the work he was putting in was adding up. It amounted to something. It meant something. To try to discredit his work is to try to discredit the games where he went off in the summer league and where he went off on the Swarm. And you can't do that. Well, you can, and you probably will, but it really doesn't matter because results speak for themselves. His shooting percentage right now speaks for itself. His plus or minus speaks for itself. All these are positive in his game right now. And of course, you're going to say, then why is he on the bench? That is an awesome question. So, Liangelo, after the LKL, after the JBA, he decides to get his surgery to finally come back to full health. And a lot of people said, just go ahead and be a model. You don't need to get the surgery. You don't need to play basketball. It's not going to help you. You're not good enough. You couldn't step on the court with college athletes, let alone NBA athletes. And that's exactly what he did in the summer league. Well, let's rewind a little bit. That's exactly what he did in the Hornets facility when LaMelo brought him along. Newsflash, guys. Liangelo was doing very well in those Hornets scrimmages. And that is why he got the invite to the summer league. Of course, you guys are going to say, no, he got the invite because his brother is LaMelo Ball, the face of the Hornets. Well, LaMelo must not have that much pull because Jello is not even playing on the G League team. I mean, he's on the roster, but he hasn't stepped on the court in a few games. Now that could change. Like the Bulls, the Hornets are short-handed. People going down for COVID, LaMelo himself. As a matter of fact, check out the new LaMelo Ball video I dropped today. It's called Water. You don't want to miss it. But back to this Liangelo video. After the Summer League performance that Liangelo gave, which you have mixed reviews on, some people will say it was awesome, others will say it was subpar, but what we can agree on is he didn't play 20 minutes a game. He played 16 minutes a game, and the touches that he was given, it wasn't always consistent. So he did have highlight plays every game. He got the crowd going, but he did not get a full opportunity to show what he could do. That's why when he wasn't picked up to the G League squad right away, it was very confusing because he was a bright spot on that G League team or Summer League team. But now let's get to the good part, because there's a G League draft and the Hornets, they have a couple picks, but nothing really high. But then they make some deals in the background to make sure they get a higher pick in the first round. And who do they select? None other than Liangelo Ball. And things are looking up, right? Everyone's optimistic. I did a call-in show the day he got signed. People called in and just expressed their happiness for Liangelo. It was really cool. So right then and there, I knew I would be at Liangelo Ball's first game. I knew I would be courtside, and I was. And it was a blast. I watched Liangelo go out there and play for 23, 24 minutes, and he dropped 22 points. The building was going crazy. LeVar and Tina, the Ball family, was in the building. They were going crazy. We even hung out after. Me, LeVar, Liangelo, chopped it up, talked about the good things that went down and looking forward to the future. And don't get me wrong, I still believe the future is bright, but is it the near future or distant future? That's what we got to talk about right now. Because like the Chicago Bulls, the Charlotte Hornets have had main pieces go down as well. It's kind of funny that has happened to both Ball brothers teams. That's crazy. But back to G. Since LaMelo is out, Terry Rozier is out, they brought up James Bouknight and Kai and a couple others back to the main roster, which leaves some spots on the G League team. And don't get me wrong, I know we shouldn't be having this conversation. After his 22-point debut, he should have been in the rotation at least. Of course, I thought starting, but he should have at least been in the rotation. But you heard what he said in his interview on this video. He stays focused on what he has to do. Through experience, he knows what it's like to block out the noise. The media loves to criticize people when they're at fault. So let's go ahead and big up somebody, give somebody props. Liangelo, job well done on perseverance through all of this. Swarm, give this young man some playing time. I can say this, he deserves it. Coaches give press conferences all the time, so I say we deserve a press conference from this coach to tell us why G isn't playing. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll keep you updated till next time. Ball facts again. Peace.